If I own nothing, I will escape illusion. He set fire to his hut. He watched everything he owned turn into ashes. I am free, he declared. I have conquered attachment. These clothes are also possessions. He saw a rat chewing his loincloth. Startled and angry, he threw a stone, but the rat ran away. False advice. Deny pleasure and suffer. Moha means attraction. It means being drawn toward something. Every human being experiences this pull. It is not a weakness, it is the rule of life itself. When people are told, never desire pleasure, never enjoy material things, one simple question arises. Has anyone ever truly lived without desire? If we look at ancient stories, the answer becomes clear. During the churning of the ocean, Lord Vishnu appeared as Mohini and took the nectar away from the Asuras. Even the great Lord Shiva felt attraction toward Mohini, and from that union was born Lord Ayappa. Sage Parashara felt desire when he met Satyavati, and Vyasa was born.
Sage, Vishwamitra was drawn toward Menaka.
And Shakuntala came into the world. Temptation is not an exception, it is everywhere. Flowers attract bees, birds display colors, peacocks dance. Life continues because beings are drawn toward one another. If this is illusion, then life itself is illusion. Without attraction, nothing moves forward. Often, simple folk stories explain life better than heavy philosophy. Here is one such story: The Disciple and the Loincloth. A young disciple stood in tears. His guru was leaving for a long pilgrimage to the Himalayas. In those days, such journeys were dangerous. Travelers were robbed, some were killed. Wild animals, floods, and storms were constant threats. Life itself was uncertain. The Guru said calmly, "Do not worry about my life. Life is temporary anyway." Still, the Guru felt uneasy. He had not expected his disciple to be so emotional. At the same time, he felt a quiet happiness. The disciple's love was genuine. But deep attachment is not helpful on a spiritual path. So before leaving, the Guru gave strict advice to his disciple. Do not become attached to your home. Do not become attached to clothes you wear. Do not give importance to material things. Control desire. Do not look at women with lust. Live with discipline and restraint. The disciple folded his hands and promised to obey every word of his Guru. Satisfied, the Guru left. That night, the disciple could not sleep. His mind kept returning to the Guru's words. By morning, he reached a conclusion. If I own nothing, I will escape illusion. He set fire to his hut. He watched everything he owned turn into ashes. Instead of sadness, he felt pride. He jumped into the river, bathed, and stood facing the rising sun. I am free, he declared. I have conquered attachment. A rooster crowed somewhere far away. The disciple danced and sang, filled with joy. After some time, hunger appeared. He began walking toward the village. As he walked, his wet clothes felt heavy. Suddenly, a thought struck him. These clothes are also possessions. Shame washed over him. Believing he had failed his Guru, he removed his clothes and walked naked toward the village. He refused to work, believing that a disciplined seeker should live by begging. He went from door to door asking for food. When people questioned him, he explained that he had renounced all attachments and needed only food, air, and water. One man regularly gave him food. The disciple thanked him politely and left. Soon, this became routine. The villagers were confused. The young man was gentle, calm, and respectful. There was a quiet glow on his face. But many villagers felt uncomfortable seeing a naked mendicant at their doorstep each morning. The village elders met and discussed the matter. At last, they decided to give him a simple loincloth. They requested him to wear it. Reluctantly, he agreed. One early morning, he woke up to a faint sound. He saw a rat chewing his loincloth. Startled and angry, he threw a stone, but the rat ran away. Looking at the torn cloth, he felt sorrow. How will I go to the village now? He wondered. He tied leaves together and covered himself. When he reached the village, people laughed. An elder took him aside and asked what had happened. The disciple explained everything. He said he believed in non-violence and did not want to kill the rat. Yet, when his only possession was destroyed, anger rose within him. The elder smiled. This problem is simple, he said. He gave him a cat. The cat will deal with the rat. It is the cat's nature. The sin will not be yours. The disciple accepted the cat. The elder also gave him a new loincloth. The cat was white and soft with bright blue eyes. The disciple enjoyed watching it play. At night, the cat and the rat played their deadly game. The disciple shouted, "Catch the rascal! Catch the thief!" Finally, the cat caught the rat and killed it. The disciple clapped with joy. He hugged his cat and kissed its soft forehead. By now, the villagers had given him more clothes. The disciple began choosing which loincloth to wear. He chose the red one and looked at himself in the river.
I like this color. It suits me well, he said, and the cat meowed softly. Soon, the disciple noticed a change. The cat no longer came running to him. It did not sit close or play as before. When he reached out to touch it, the cat quietly moved away. The disciple felt disturbed. He could not understand what he had done wrong. That night, he could not sleep, thinking again and again about the cat. The next morning, he went to the village elder and shared his concern. The elder smiled and said calmly, "The cat is not angry with you. It is simply hungry. It needs milk." He gave him a pot of milk. The disciple brought milk for the cat. As he watched the cat drink, a desire rose within him. It had been a long time since he himself had tasted milk. After the cat finished drinking, he washed the pot carefully and hung it on a tree branch. On another branch, his two spare loincloths were drying in the air. He touched them to check if they were dry. Wearing the same cloth every day felt dull. He thought of having another loincloth, perhaps blue or black. The next day, he asked for 2 pots of milk, one for the cat and one for himself. The villagers also gave him several more loincloths. The sannyasi returned to his tree, feeling content. He felt he now had nothing more to desire. He believed he could finally sit in silence, meditate, and understand the universe. He was certain that by the time his guru returned, he would attain true spiritual wisdom. Over time, the daily walk to the village began to feel tiring. He also had to wash his loincloths and clean the 2 pots he used. Carrying milk from the village in 2 pots was not easy and required great care. One day, he slipped and broke one of his pots. He went back and asked for a replacement. The villagers said nothing to him. But as he walked away, he felt embarrassed and wondered if they thought he was careless.
One of the villager elders solved this too by donating him a cow. Now, he and the cat could drink as much milk as they wanted. Most of his morning went into milking the cow. There was more milk than both of them could drink. He then started making curd. When the pot filled up, he needed more pots. The villagers suggested that he make ghee instead. Soon he had more ghee than he could eat. Slowly, he got used to eating everything with ghee. But now his day was full of work. He had to bathe the cow, milk it, take it out to graze, wash many loincloths, and clean the pots. There was no time left to read the Vedas.
Unable to manage everything alone, he went to the village elder for advice. The elder suggested that he keep a maid to help him with daily work. A young woman was hired and she began doing all his daily work while he spent his time reading the Vedas. But at the end of the month, the maid asked for her wages. The sannyasi had no money to pay her. Once again, he went to the village elder for help. The elder paid the wages and then said, "Instead of paying her every month, it would be easier if you married her." The sannyasi felt trapped by the situation and agreed. In this way, the maid became his wife. Moreover, his new bride clearly said that she would not stay under the tree. She asked him, "What if a cobra crawls into our bed at night? What will we do when it rains?" These were questions he had never thought about earlier. The more he reflected on them, the more he felt that she was right. He decided to build a hut. At first, he planned something very simple. But his wife expected a proper home. She wanted a veranda where she could sit comfortably. She wanted a good kitchen with a chimney. She wanted a shed for the cow. She wanted a bed for the cat. She wanted a guest room in case her father came to stay, and another room for herself during her monthly periods. She also spoke of a prayer room and a separate room to keep books that he planned to collect later. Only then did he realize that all this would cost money. So he took a loan from the village moneylender. The interest was very high. His wife then insisted that he wear better clothes, as her friends laughed at the loincloth wearing sannyasi. She also bought a few good saris for herself. He agreed, thinking it was fair. For clothes too, more loans were taken. Soon they had no money left. Sleep became difficult. The moneylender came every day to collect interest. He was polite, but the sannyasi sensed that his patience was slowly fading. His wife then suggested that he sell the ghee himself, as the village elder kept a share. But another question arose. How would he take the ghee to the town market? He decided to buy a bull and make a cart. Once again, he borrowed money and bought one. Soon after, the cow gave birth to a calf, and the cattle shed had to be expanded. He started selling ghee using the cart, but the income was low. He could barely manage the interest. He saw large traders arrive with huge carts full of ghee. Compared to them, his few pots were nothing. A merchant suggested him an idea that if you make sweets from ghee, you will earn more. The husband and wife began making sweets. Orders increased quickly. Soon, the work was too much for him alone, and he had to hire helpers. Before long, they opened a large sweet-making shop near the river. The sannyasi and his wife moved into their dream house. As their family grew, the house grew bigger too. Everything was there, except time to meditate or read the Vedas. He was now living a full householder's life. When the Guru returned from his pilgrimage, he went to meet his disciple, certain that he would have gained spiritual wisdom. But when he arrived, he was shocked. The small hut was gone.
In its place stood a grand mansion. Servants worked in the workshop. The smell of jalebi and rasgulla filled the air. The cattle shed held hundreds of cows. Children played in the courtyard. A fit man sat comfortably on a chair in the veranda. A servant fanned him while another stood nearby. He laughed and spoke with the village elder and the moneylender, while their wives played dice at the other end. Workers took instructions. Clerks counted money. When the man noticed the guru, he stood up with an awkward smile. The veranda fell silent. Tears filled the guru's eyes. He asked softly, "My son, what happened to your spiritual knowledge?" The man smiled sadly and replied, "I lost it for a loincloth." The guru turned and walked away without a word. The man asked his wife to bring the guru something to drink and went to fetch sweets. But by the time she came with buttermilk, the guru had already left. She asked who the old man was. He replied casually that the old man believed everyone was trapped in life's illusion and he had gone in search of the ultimate truth. He smiled, pinched her cheek, and walked away humming a song on his lips. Inside the workshop, workers stirred large vats of sweets. He ate a rasgulla. As its sweetness spread in his mouth, he thought, "This illusion tastes very sweet. Who wants anything else?" The cat purred and rubbed against his fine clothes. But everything depends on how you see it. Advice meant for monks does not suit householders. Those who choose family life must accept desire and duty. The sannyasi found meaning not by denying desire, but by following it. His desire became passion. His passion became purpose. That is the magic of life. If this story made you pause and reflect, if it touched something within you and made you think differently about desire and life, and inspired you to search for purpose in your own journey, then support this journey. Like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel for more such meaningful stories.